Hello, hello once again. It's Damon with another Rebooking WrestleMania video, and it's two nights. And this time, I want to do WrestleMania 4. I'm going to try and make it chronologically, but I'm not promising here. But about WrestleMania 4, I know it's mostly occupied by tournament, and honestly, I don't feel like deviating from that. I don't want to deviate from the tournament idea because it was still a good idea in execution. Basically, theoretically, in theory, it was a good idea. Was it practiced well? I don't know. But I say, what? Why not give it a shot again? So for that end, in that end, basically what I just said, I think it'd be very, very good if we just apply common, uh, some common basically ideas. First of all, I mean, I look at the card and I felt like there's things that could change. Things could have happened and didn't happen. So why not work on it? Second of all, I felt there's way too many DQs. Sometimes I don't mind DQs. In fact, I'm starting to miss them in pay-per-views. Like when I hear, for example, Cody versus Gunther, I don't want Cody to lose the title right now. But I don't want Gunther to lose. Why not do a DQ? Why not have Randy Orton attack or somebody attack and basically Cody lose by DQ, Gunther lose by DQ, and Gunther come out several months later, go back for the title. But what's wrong with DQs from time to time or countouts? Like you keep using him basically like what Russo did, that's something bad. But from time to time, it's not bad. It's actually a cop out. Shawn Michaels and Michael versus Mick Foley at 996 Mind Games is a great example of how to book a match with a DQ, and it still was an awesome match. Nobody really lost. And it might just be Mick Foley's best technical match of all time. I mean technical. Maybe not hardcore, but technical, yeah. So I'm thinking WrestleMania 4. How would I book it? It'd still be a tournament. It would still be a tournament. And it might lead to a bit more matches. And guess what? I'm not gonna be a guy who says or Bruce Pritchard, every match needs to be you need to have 4 or 5 matches per night and 20 minutes each. No, some match will not last that long. And yeah, I would not make them last too long, but we'll make sure there's a story behind every match. For example, the first match would be indeed the Battle Royal. It would include, in this case, I would put many people in that case. I would put basically Bad News Brown. I would put the Heart Foundation. I would put basically Killer Bees, the Rougeos. I would put the Bolsheviks, Ken Patera. What else would I put in? I would put Ken Patera. Who else was in the card there? Sika, George Steele, Dangerous Danny Davis, Hillbilly Jim. Mm, I want to put Harley Race there. Nah, I would not. Because there's a reason why. But I would put people like, you had the Brawler, Brooklyn Brawler, uh, who else? Ron Bass, uh, the Killer Bees. Basically this. And it would still lead to Bad News winning the same way. That'd be the first match. Second match, I want it to be this. So I would have Jim Duggan. Like Jim Duggan went from winning the Royal Rumble, so I want him to actually go to WrestleMania to kind of win. You have Jim Duggan face off against who could he face off against? Oh, I don't know. Why couldn't he face off against King Harley Race? So he beats the King in the first opening match. We already had one heel win. Let's have a face win there. Second match of the night. You would have Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase would wrestle and would face. You basically face off against. He would face off against. Let me think. Uh, I want him to have a win, but not an easy win, per se. I would have Ted DiBiase face off against Coco Beware. So he gets on and he moves on to the finals. He goes on to the second round afterwards. Then you have next one. You have Macho Man. Well, no, it's not right now. Sorry. You have Don Morocco face off against Dino Bravo. Morocco wins. It's a 16-man tournament I would do. So yeah, you would have afterwards. Next up for Don Morocco, you would have check who could be next. You would have Bam Bam Bigelow taking on the One Man Gang. So in this case, you could have in this case, I'm not sure if I want Bam Bam, but supposedly was injured that night, so maybe keep the count of the loss so One Man Gang goes on to continue basically losing streak. Then you could have the Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior makes basically his debut, and who does he wrestle? Does he wrestle Hercules or does he beat somebody else? I would have him basically go on to demolish. Who else could it be? You could have him not demolish Donkey Kong Man because I still want to keep it for SummerSlam, but have the Ultimate Warrior beat. Let me check. Who can he beat? Oh, you could have the Ultimate Warrior beat. Hmm, who could have been in the WB roster at that point? Somebody still meant something. Uh, you know what? I'm just gonna put Ron Bass here. He just beats Ron Bass. Ultimate Warrior beats Ron Bass. So now we move on to the other match, the other quarterfinals, or the other sorry, other semifinals. Sorry, other first round matches. You have Macho Man Randy Savage beating Butch Reed. Savage wins. You have Ricky Steamboat against Greg Valentine, and this time Steamboat wins. You would have, in this case, we'll make sure to have the two last semifinals there. You have Jake the Snake Roberts against Rick Rude. So you would have this going on, and you would have basically the match in real life was a draw. You could basically say in this case you could have Ravishing Rick Rude cheat to win. So yeah, uh, and then you would go on to have Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant as the main event of night one. And this time, who would win? I'm tempted to have Hogan win by DQ. That's right, I would end WrestleMania for night one with a DQ. But basically, he wins after body slam the Giant. He goes for the club drop, but Ted DiBiase attacks him with a chair. And basically, Hogan, the Mega Bucks, Andre, Teddy DiBiase, and Virgil, destroy Hulk Hogan. And basically, he wins, but Hogan wins, but Andre seems like the winner by the end. It feels like Hogan's not going to make it past this. So Hogan goes on to basically finish the first round. So we're up to the second night two. Night two, basically, let the semifinal. I'll tell you what's going to be the first, basically the quarterfinals. We'd have basically Duggan versus DiBiase. We'd have Morocco versus One Man Gang. We have Savage versus Steamboat. And we got Hogan versus Rick Rude. So, what will happen there? Of course, you start off the night with Duggan DiBiase, and this is where DiBiase wins. Then, you would have, in the second match, you would have, in this case, second match, we have Morocco versus One Man Gang. Morocco wins with one of his power slams. Then you would have basically a break. So basically between this, you have the Bulldogs, plus a partner of their own. So basically versus the Islanders and and Bobby Eaton. Bobby Eaton and the Islanders win. You basically follow up with Savage with Steamboat in what should be basically a barn burner, and Savage would win, but he wouldn't win a flying elbow drop. He would win by countering the body slam and basically cradle that he lost last year with. So basically, he goes for a body slam. Ricky Steamboat reversed the inside cradle, but Savage reversed at the last minute, and that's how he beat Steamboat. So afterwards, both of them embrace, they hug, they shake. Steamboat raises Savage hands, and that's how Steamboat leaves WWE. Like, he leaves on a high note, and he puts over somebody. So why not? Then you have Hogan versus Rick Rude. And Hogan loses, but he doesn't lose by pinfall, he gets counted out. He gets counted out after a while because he's ran into the stairs, and basically his back is too injured. So, and even then, he still crawls the ring, and it takes basically, as he tries to get into the ring at 9, he's about to get into the ring, but Andre Giant basically, while the referee doesn't see it, Andre the Giant just picks Hogan's leg and throws him back the outside. He's counted for the 10 count. So now we have the final four for that tournament. We have DiBiase versus Morocco, Savage versus Rick Rude. The Intercontinental title match is the Honky Tonk Man versus Brutus Beefcake. And if Honky Tonk Man has to keep that title, Brutus cannot win the title. But Brutus, I would have basically been Brutus Beefcake get Honky Tonk Man wins the match like he won against Jake Roberts in real life, but it would happen here. But Brutus, after the match, basically cuts a bit of a Brutus hair of a Honky Tonk Man's hair, as well as Jimmy Hart. Then, in a women's title match, you would have, in a rematch of the year before, you would have Sherry Martel against Rockin' Robin. That's when Rockin' Robin wins the title. So yeah. Now I went to basically several matches left. We got 2 semifinals. Morocco versus DiBiase. So yeah, I will have DiBiase win the match. Again, with his stun gun version. So yeah, Morocco loses, and DiBiase, even though he he's a dastardly heel, looks like still $1 million bucks while losing. So he loses. So sorry, DiBiase wins. Then you have Savage versus Rick Rude. Savage wins. Fair and square with a top rope elbow. So Savage DiBiase is the final, and the penultimate match is like in real life. Demolition against Strikeforce, and Demolition continues their winning ways by winning the World Tag Team titles against Strikeforce at WrestleMania 4. In the main event of the night, it's Savage versus DiBiase, and this time both men wrestle 4 times beforehand. So it's a fair enough match, and basically I wouldn't have be interference galore. I just have Andre and Virgil trying to interfere, and that's the only time you see Hogan. Hogan comes out with a chair, doesn't attack DiBiase, but he attacks Andre and Virgil. So it's left one-on-one. DiBiase tries the Million Dollar Dream, and Savage basically runs against the next corner. Basically, you could have basically have Savage run against the corner, the nearest corner, because Savage is near the another corner. So he runs toward the opposite corner, but he ducks his head. So basically, so that DiBiase falls face first into the turnbuckle, top turnbuckle. DiBiase falls to the mat. Savage follows up with the top rope elbow drop, top rope elbow drop, 1, 2, 3, and there you go. Savage still wins. So the end results kind of are similar, but I felt like this, it'd be more because he didn't just beat, like he didn't beat Greg Valentine via inside cradle. He beat, in this case, he would beat Butch Reed, Ricky Dragon Steamboat, Rick Rude, not somebody by DQ, Rick Rude by pinfall, and Ted DiBiase. But at the same time, Ted DiBiase beats Coco Beware, he beats Jim Duggan, and he beats Don Morocco. Steamboat still looks good by winning a match against Greg Valentine, but still puts over Savage without looking bad himself. Hogan doesn't really lose the title. He doesn't really lose. He actually wins another main event, but at the same time, when he loses to Rick Rude, it's seen as a shock. He was counted out, and even then, he would still be inside the ring if it wasn't for Andre Giant. So everybody looks good losing. You know? So yeah, that's how I would have booked WrestleMania 4. Let me know what you guys think. I'm out of here. Bye.